pause right here for a moment, because the message that has just reached you is not random. You may think you were simply scrolling, passing time, distracting your mind, but something deeper guided you to this exact second. Archangel Michael has been trying to reach you for days, even in the moments when you felt too tired, too overwhelmed, or too distracted to notice. And now, finally, you are ready to hear what he has been trying to say. Take a slow breath in. Let the air settle inside your chest. Let your shoulders drop just a little, because what you are about to understand will not come with fear, but with clarity. Michael says, you have 7 minutes, not because danger is coming, but because truth is arriving. These 7 minutes are symbolic. They are a spiritual countdown, a reminder that the window for awakening is narrow but powerful. It's the moment when heaven opens the line of communication and whispers, pay attention now. And if you're reading this, it means you've stepped into that window. You have felt this shift, haven't you? The strange tension behind your ribs. The moments when something felt off, even if you couldn't explain why. The dreams that lingered in your mind after waking. The déjà vu, the repeated numbers, the coincidences too precise to be accidents. None of that was noise. All of it was communication. Michael says, a message reaches your intuition long before it reaches your awareness. And now, your awareness has finally caught up. There is something you have been sensing, but refusing to confront. A truth rising in the background of your life, quietly but persistently. You felt it in certain conversations, in certain silences, in certain people whose energy suddenly shifted around you, in situations that once felt safe but now feel uncertain. Your spirit has been whispering, tugging, alerting you. And yet, you pushed the feeling aside. You said, I'm overthinking. You said, it's just stress. You said, maybe it's nothing. You said, I'll deal with it later. But now, later is here. Michael's voice is firm but filled with protection as he says, you've ignored too many signs. Now the final one is here. These words do not come to frighten you. They come to wake you. Because you are standing at the edge of a cycle that has been draining you, confusing you, slowing you, or pulling you away from your purpose. You may not have seen the full picture, but your soul has felt the weight. Something in your life has reached its limit. Something is demanding change. Something can no longer continue the way it has been. And Michael is urging you to see what you have been avoiding. Take another breath. Let it steady you. Ask yourself, gently, honestly, what have you been tolerating that is hurting you? What have you been pretending not to know? What truth have you been tiptoeing around? What pattern keeps repeating itself, no matter how hard you try to ignore it? What presence in your life has your energy shrinking instead of expanding? What decision have you been delaying, even though you know it's necessary? These questions may stir something deep inside you. Do not run from that feeling. That feeling is the message. Michael says, your hesitation has delayed your protection. Not ruined it, not canceled it, only delayed it. But the delay ends now, because the 7-minute window is not about fear. It's about intervention. You're being redirected away from something that would drain you further and towards something that will strengthen you. And the reason the message feels urgent is because the moment of shift is already in motion. You can probably feel it in your body. That slight tightening in your chest, that awareness beneath your skin, that quiet inner voice saying, pay attention. If your spirit is responding, even faintly, it's because the truth is touching you. Michael says, protection enters your life the moment you allow yourself to see what you didn't want to see. So ask yourself again, what have you been refusing to see? A person whose intentions are no longer aligned with yours? A relationship built on uneven energy? A path that no longer nourishes your spirit? An environment that drains your peace? A habit that dims your inner light? A fear that keeps you repeating the same cycle? The signs have been everywhere. in conversations that felt strange, in moments of discomfort you couldn't explain, in sudden shifts of energy around certain people, in your intuition tightening whenever you are near something that is not meant for you. Michael says, your body reacts before your mind understands. That discomfort you felt, that heaviness in certain rooms, that hesitation around certain choices, that sudden fatigue around certain people, those moments of dread, confusion, or unease, you thought you were imagining it, but you weren't. You were being warned, gently at first, now more directly, and not because something terrible is coming, but because your spirit is being pulled toward a higher path, and the things that cannot go with you are starting to fall away. Take a slow breath and let this truth settle. What leaves your life when you rise is never a loss. Michael says, stop fearing the shift. Start listening to it, because the shift is here. You felt it in your thoughts. You felt it in your relationships. You felt it in your dreams. You felt it in the subtle changes of your daily life. Now it is time to respond. If you feel this truth rising inside you, even the slightest flicker, you may anchor your intention by saying, I'm listening. Those two words are a doorway, a permission, a signal to the universe, a declaration that you are ready to receive the guidance meant for you. You are not stepping into danger. You are stepping into clarity. You are not about to lose something. You are about to be redirected toward what is meant for you. Michael wants you to understand one final thing in this first part. The warning is not the threat. The warning is the protection. Let that truth reach your heart. Feel how it softens the fear, replaces it with awareness, replaces anxiety with strength. You are being protected. You are being guided. You are being awakened. And this is only the beginning of what Michael is trying to reveal to you. Something inside you is beginning to awaken, not with panic, but with recognition. A quiet understanding is rising in your chest, like the first flicker of light after a long night. You may not have all the answers yet, but you can feel that something about your life, your relationships, or your path has been shifting beneath the surface for a while. Michael's message is here to bring that shift into the open. He says, this warning is not to frighten you. It is to bring you back to alignment. And deep down, you know you've been drifting, not aimlessly, just unconsciously. Little by little, you've been pulled away from your center, not because of weakness, but because of distraction, exhaustion, emotional weight, or misplaced loyalty. Michael wants you to understand, you went off your path the moment you stopped listening to yourself. Consider the moments when your intuition whispered and you ignored it. The invitations you accepted, even though your spirit tightened. The people you tried to trust, even though something felt wrong. The opportunities you pursued, even though your inner voice said, not this. The conversations where your heart sank, but you brushed it aside. The emotions that rose in your chest, but you swallowed them down. These were not random sensations. They were guidance. And now that guidance is becoming urgent. Michael says, a truth unacknowledged becomes a lesson repeated. And you are being given a chance to break the repetition. Take a slow inhale. Let it settle. Your body knows what your mind tries to rationalize. Your spirit senses what your logic refuses to admit. So ask yourself gently, what have you been pretending not to feel? Maybe it's the shift in someone's behavior, subtle but unmistakable. Maybe it's a discomfort you feel whenever a certain situation comes up. Maybe it's a connection you've been holding on to, even though it drains you. Maybe it's a pattern you've repeated again and again, hoping it will end differently this time. Maybe it's a fear that keeps steering your choices instead of your truth. Maybe it's an expectation you placed on yourself that was never yours to carry. Michael's message is clear. You cannot rise while holding on to what drags you down. The warning you are receiving is not about danger outside of you. It is about the danger of staying in a cycle that is suffocating your growth. You've been shrinking to fit situations that no longer match who you are becoming. You've been dimming your intuition so others won't be uncomfortable. You've been sacrificing your peace to keep the familiar intact, even when the familiar is slowly draining you. But the 7-minute window symbolizes a divine moment where everything becomes visible. The illusions fade. The truth sharpens. The energy shifts. Michael says, a cycle is ending, and the end will not wait for your hesitation. Notice how those words land in your body. Somewhere inside you, there is agreement, a quiet yes, a recognition. Because you have felt the ending for a long time, you just didn't want to confront it. You hoped things would fix themselves. You hoped someone would change. You hoped the discomfort would pass. You hoped the signs were just your imagination. But every time you pushed those feelings aside, they returned stronger. Because truth does not disappear simply because you ignore it. Truth waits, then knocks, then insists. Until finally, like now, you cannot look away. If you feel this heaviness lifting, even slightly, you may affirm, I am ready to see clearly. Michael wants you to know something essential. There is nothing wrong with you for missing the signs. What matters is that you are noticing them now. You are not late. You have not failed. You are not behind. You are simply arriving at the moment of recognition that was always meant for you. The 7-minute window is symbolic of this instant, the moment when your spirit says, enough, I'm listening now. Another truth Michael wants you to accept is this: your stability cannot come from people who are unstable within themselves. Think about it. How many times have you tried to reason with someone whose actions made no sense? How often did you soften yourself for people who refused to soften for you? How many times did you give clarity to people who thrived in confusion? How often did you silence your own truth to protect someone else's comfort? This is not judgment. This is awareness. This is the understanding that you cannot keep giving energy to what has no intention of giving energy back. Michael says, your compassion is a gift, but it has made you vulnerable to draining connections. And now, the warning is here to restore your boundaries. Because someone or something in your life is out of alignment, and your spirit is picking up the imbalance. It may not be dramatic. It may not be visible. But you feel it in fatigue, irritation, anxiety, or intuition. This is not paranoia. This is perception. Your awareness is expanding, and with that expansion comes the responsibility to act on what you know, not emotionally, not impulsively, but consciously. Michael wants you to hear this clearly. The truth you fear seeing is the truth that will save you. Your fear is not about the truth itself. It is about the idea of change, about letting go, about stepping into the unknown, about breaking a pattern that has become familiar, even if it hurts you. But Michael says, the unknown is not your enemy. Your stagnation is. Take a deep breath now. Feel your spine straighten slightly. You are not collapsing under the weight of this message. You are rising beneath it. If you feel this shift, you may anchor it by saying, I accept the warning. As you read on, something inside you loosens. Some weight you've carried begins to dissolve. Because awareness always brings relief, even when the truth is uncomfortable. Your intuition has been waiting for you to acknowledge what you already knew. Michael says, this is guidance, not fear. This is protection, not punishment. You are not in danger. You are being redirected before danger ever reaches you. You are being guided away from what drains you and toward what aligns with your soul. The signs have been around you for days, maybe weeks. A strange comment someone made, a sudden distance in a relationship, a recurring inconvenience, a blockage in plans, a feeling of being out of place, a sense that something is ending even before it actually ends. These were not accidents. These were invitations. Now the final invitation has arrived. Michael's voice becomes gentler now. Do not be afraid. You are not alone in this shift. And deep inside, you can feel the truth of that. You are safe. You are guided. You are protected. And the message is only halfway unfolded. You can feel it now, the subtle but undeniable shift happening inside you. It isn't loud. It isn't chaotic. It isn't overwhelming. Instead, it feels like a quiet alignment, a returning to yourself, a deep exhale you didn't realize you'd been holding. This is what happens when truth begins to integrate. This is what happens when your spirit stops running and finally listens. Michael says, the warning is not the danger. The warning is the doorway. And that doorway is opening inside you. There is something in your life that has been out of alignment for a long time. Something you have tolerated, excused, rationalized, or postponed dealing with because the alternative felt too heavy, too complicated, or too uncertain. But your spirit has reached a point where it can no longer carry the weight of pretending. It demands honesty now, not with the world, but with yourself. Think for a moment about the pattern that keeps returning to your life, the cycle that you feel trapped in, the emotion that refuses to quiet itself, the person whose presence drains you no matter how much effort you put in, the decision you keep delaying even though you know what you must do, the anxiety that rises every time you ignore the signs, the heaviness that settles in your body whenever you step in the wrong direction. These are not coincidences. These are the echoes of a truth you've been avoiding. Michael says, your discomfort is the compass. The very thing you've tried to suppress has been guiding you. Your body knows. Your intuition knows. Your spirit knows. And now your mind is starting to catch up. Take a slow breath. Let your awareness expand, even if it feels unfamiliar. Ask yourself gently, what am I holding on to that is holding me back? Who am I giving energy to that gives nothing in return? What path am I forcing that is clearly resisting me? What truth am I afraid of admitting because it will require change? These questions aren't meant to blame you. They're meant to free you. Because Michael wants you to understand an essential truth. You cannot protect your future by clinging to what is damaging your present. That is why the signs have been getting stronger. That is why certain situations have become increasingly uncomfortable. That is why certain relationships feel heavier. That is why your intuition has been louder. That is why something in you has been saying, this can't continue, not as punishment, but as protection. You may think you've been falling apart, but you've actually been falling into place. Take a moment and feel your heartbeat. It may feel calmer now, more grounded, more aware. That is not accidental. That is alignment. Michael says, your soul is preparing for elevation, and elevation requires separation. Separation from what? From people whose energy contradicts your growth. From paths that no longer honor your spirit. From choices that come from fear rather than intuition. From habits that drain your power. From environments that dim your light. From narratives that keep you small. You cannot rise while holding on to what keeps you grounded in pain. If this truth resonates, you may affirm, I release what cannot rise with me. There is another layer to this awakening, one that feels softer but deeper. You have been carrying guilt that does not belong to you. Guilt for walking away. Guilt for choosing yourself. Guilt for setting boundaries. Guilt for changing. Guilt for outgrowing people you once prayed would stay. But Michael says, growth is not betrayal. Read that again. Growth is not betrayal. Distance is not cruelty. Clarity is not judgment. Truth is not abandonment. You can love someone and still know they cannot continue with you. You can care deeply about people who are not aligned with your path. Your compassion doesn't obligate you to stay where your spirit is suffocating. Take another breath, softer this time. Let it sink with your heart. Michael wants you to remember this. Your peace is the first sign of the right direction. Whenever you think about a choice and you feel your chest relax, that is guidance. Whenever you imagine walking away and your breathing gets easier, That is confirmation. Whenever you feel calmness around a decision, that is alignment speaking. Your soul has been trying to lead you to peace. Your mind has been trying to lead you to safety. But safety without peace is just survival. And you were not born to survive. You were born to awaken. Think about how many times you ignored your own needs to keep situations stable. How many times you silenced yourself to avoid conflict. How many times you gave second chances knowing nothing would change. How many times you convinced yourself you were fine when your spirit was exhausted. This is why the warning feels intense, because your spirit is done pretending. Michael says, you have outgrown your old self, but you are still trying to live in that shell. The shell no longer fits. The environment no longer sustains you. The patterns no longer match your awareness. This is not a crisis. This is evolution. If you can feel this truth rising, you may anchor it by saying, I am stepping into my next chapter. Another truth Michael wants to bring forward is this. What feels like loss now is actually liberation. You may feel something slipping away, a connection, an expectation, an idea of who you were supposed to be. That feeling is not rejection. It's release. Your soul is letting go of the versions of you that were built on fear, on pleasing others, on ignoring yourself, on holding yourself back. You are not losing anything meant for you. You are shedding what cannot continue with you. And the moment you accept this, you feel lighter. Michael says, when the universe removes something, it is never to punish you. It is to prepare you. Your preparation is happening now. Your elevation is in motion. Your awareness is expanding. And the 7-minute window is the symbolic moment when you choose to trust the shift rather than resist it. Take one more slow breath. Let the truth settle into your chest like a warm, steady light. You are not in danger. You are being protected from the danger you did not see. You are not being abandoned. You are being guided toward clarity. You are not being warned to fear. You are being warned to awaken. Michael ends this part with a final reminder. The truth is not here to hurt you. The truth is here to free you. Let those words circulate through your mind, your chest, your spirit, because once you accept the truth, everything begins to align around it. You've reached the point where everything inside you begins to align, not because all the answers arrived at once, but because you finally stopped resisting the truth that has been trying to reach you for so long. There is a deep stillness growing inside your chest, a kind of silence that feels powerful instead of empty. That silence is the space where clarity settles. That silence is the space where divine protection begins to work. Michael says, the moment you face the truth is the moment your protection activates. And you can feel it, the shift, the grounding, the awareness. You are no longer drowning in confusion. You are rising above it. This final part of the message brings everything together. The threads of intuition you've ignored, the signs you dismissed, the patterns you kept repeating, the whispers you tried to silence. Now all of them merge into a single, undeniable realization. You cannot go back to who you were. Not after the clarity you've gained. Not after the shifts you've felt. Not after what your spirit has shown you. Not after the truth you've finally acknowledged. Michael says, you are stepping out of the version of yourself that tolerated danger disguised as comfort. Think about that for a moment. How many things in your life felt familiar, but not safe? How many people felt close, but not aligned? How many situations felt predictable, but not healthy? How many choices felt easy, but not right? You stayed in places that were shrinking you because they were familiar. But familiarity is not safety. Comfort is not clarity. Attachment is not alignment. And now those illusions are falling away. Take a breath, slow and intentional. Feel your chest expand, as if your soul finally has room to breathe. Michael says, the final sign is here. You cannot pretend you didn't see it. Maybe the sign came through a conversation that felt wrong. Maybe through a sudden disappointment. Maybe through an unexpected change. Maybe through a moment of clarity that hit you out of nowhere. Maybe through a feeling that refused to loosen its grip on your intuition. But however it came, you saw it, truly saw it. And from this moment forward, you cannot unsee it. This realization may feel heavy, but only because it marks the end of a cycle you've outgrown. He says, a cycle ends the moment your spirit stops participating in it. Your spirit has stopped participating. You can feel it in the way you no longer have energy for old patterns. You can feel it in the way you no longer force conversations that drain you. You can feel it in the resistance your intuition gives when you try to repeat old decisions. You can feel it in the sudden exhaustion when you try to go backward. You can feel it in the new calmness when you imagine moving forward. This is growth. This is alignment. This is protection. Michael reminds you, the path ahead is clear the moment you stop clinging to what is collapsing behind you. Look at your life gently. Something has been collapsing, quietly, slowly, consistently. A belief, a bond, a habit, an expectation, a connection, an identity you no longer fit into. You tried to hold it together. You tried to make it work. You tried to pretend nothing was changing. But your spirit knew long before your mind. This chapter was ending, not as punishment, as preparation. Michael says, what is leaving your life now is making room for what your spirit has prayed for. That is why the energy has felt intense. That is why the signs have been louder. That is why the warning feels urgent. Because you are standing at the doorway of a new timeline, and if you hesitate, you risk stepping back into a story that no longer belongs to you. He asks you gently, are you willing to stay where you are no longer meant to be? Feel the answer in your body, not in your mind. Your body always knows. Your heart always knows. Your intuition always knows. If you are honest, you can already feel it. You are not meant to stay in the old energy. You are not meant to repeat old patterns. You are not meant to settle for less than clarity. You are not meant to silence your intuition just to maintain an illusion of peace. You are not meant to sacrifice your spirit just to keep someone comfortable. You are meant to evolve. You are meant to rise. You are meant to walk into the next version of your life, fully awake. Michael says, the warning is not ending something. It is beginning something. And what is beginning? A stronger sense of intuition, a deeper understanding of your path, a shift in your relationships, a new level of spiritual protection, a release from what has been draining you, a redirection toward what will grow you, a remembering of your strength, a reclaiming of your energy. This is not the collapse of your life. This is the collapse of the parts of your life that were built on fear, denial, or illusion. You are stepping into truth now, and truth is light. Truth is protection. Truth is freedom. Take a moment, breathe deeply. Let your shoulders relax. Let your spirit widen. Michael says, you are protected the moment you choose clarity over comfort. Read that again, slowly. Feel it become real inside you. You have been protected all along, even in the moments you felt alone, confused, or lost. Protection was happening in the background every time a plan fell apart. Every time someone walked away. Every time a door closed. Every time a situation collapsed before it could harm you. Every time you felt blocked from something you thought you wanted. Every time your intuition whispered, not this. Now that protection is becoming visible. The 7-minute window is symbolic of this shift, the moment when awareness meets timing, when clarity meets intuition, when truth meets readiness. Michael's final message for you is simple but life-changing. You have the strength to walk away from what is not aligned, and you have the destiny to walk toward what is meant for you. Let that sink into your spirit. Feel the empowerment in it. Feel the safety in it. Feel the truth in it. You are ready. You are protected. You are guided. You are awakening. And you are stepping into the chapter your soul has been preparing for. If you want to seal this message within yourself, you may say, I choose protection and clarity. Because the moment you declare it, the shift becomes real.